Hello and welcome to the Gauntlet Hangouts. My name is Lowell. This is the third session of the Veil, calling it Veiled Fantasy. This is a cyberpunk RPG that has been hacked to be a fantasy street level urban RPG. It's a PBTA game powered by the Apocalypse, and we are in our third session here. Last time they fought a big Amway god. That went in all kinds of directions. This is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts, which is in turn part of the sort of larger Gauntlet online community. We have forums, we have multiple podcasts, we have this calendar of online games. We have a Patreon that supports everything. That includes access to our monthly zine that we do. So you can check that out at gauntlet-rpg.com. If you're watching this, and because this is the best way for me to get comments on my videos, we use safety tools. So we have the X card as our safety tool on the table. We established some baselines for what we do don't have on the table for that. If something occurs that is problematic subject material, hits on phobias, or even seems wildly off tone, you can use the X card to mark that. We are taking up. We have Michael coming in with a new character because one of our players isn't here for this evening. He's coming in. We'll see how many sessions he'll be in for. We'll check on that. But he's making up his character right now. But I'm going to check in with our other players because we kind of left them in a messy situation here. I don't think any of them are injured, which is a very different thing than it was after session one. But we will come back to that. Zelda.
Yes, sir.
You walked away pretty mad. Still anger still kind of coursing through your veins.
Mm-hmm.
Though your pet Rasputin seemed pleased by how things turned out, right?
He certainly is upbeat. He got to have a little taste of God.
What do you think he's like? Your cat / demon familiar that runs your little girl life, even though you're not a little girl. What do you think he's like in the immediate aftermath of that, over that day or the next couple of days after having drunk of that?
I think in the immediate aftermath, it's that sort of lazy, self-satisfied sort of thing. You know, he's just wanting to curl up. He's probably around my neck. And then probably, the canary look in the days after, the self-satisfied trot around, a lot of tail flicking. I imagine that he's in that sort of good mood of the things he'll say to me and to everyone else are very, oh, that's nice. Oh, yes, indeed. Where he can be a little more cutting when he is not so well fed.
That seems like a reasonable way to put that. You have a belief on your thing. We were going to talk about, did you want to maybe make some changes to that, shift that around? We're going to check in on that today.
I think I'm good with it. I know some others were talking, but I think I still believe it, and I think it is rife to be proven wrong. So I think that it's doing cool for me.
Your agenda last time, we saw you engaging in tracking down the person who was supposed to pay you.
Right.
Who vanished over in Red Tooth.
Correct.
So you're going to go, you're still planning on checking on that, but we'll come back to that. Somebody saw him get chased by some bugbears and dragged down into the sewers.
That's right.
Yeah. You have a start of session move for Zelda.
I do indeed. Hopefully he won't be overly demanding since he was all full and everything. His hunger is down to 1, so I will put it up to 2 to start with. And fix that. And then I roll with said 2. And here we go. Oh, well, I rolled very, very high. That's a 12.
Oh, so I'm going to hold 3.
You sure are.
Oh my gosh, look at that. That is delicious. And you've got some XP, right? You've got like 7.
I do have XP. I'd forgotten that I have enough to go up, don't I?
Yeah. Do you want to, is this your first or second advance?
This will just be my first.
Okay. So it doesn't cost you any coin yet, any gold.
So yeah, I'll look over that and find something.
Okay. Yeah. Take a look. Don't forget, when you go up a level, you will get another spell.
Right. Thank you very much for reminding me. I was thinking there was something for that.
Garzula, wow, you are still spiked out on fear.
Yes, I did have a discount godling try to sacrifice me.
It did, and it is still kind of hanging. And of course, you also had recent run in with the persecutors.
So he's basically riding high on like, yeah, probably borderline paranoia at this point.
Okay.
Like they kind of are. He knows that he knows at least one group is out to get him, and now he thinks there might be another group out there that might have enough wherewithal to come after him again.
Right. We've still got. I mean, Ochara's not dead, but he is certainly off the table for a little while. And there's a question of whether Vidya might make some moves against you. I don't believe you have a start a session move, do you?
I do not.
Okay.
I have. I think I have 5 XP at this point.
Yeah.
So it would make it my second advance,
So
which means I think it costs money now, right?
Costs you 1 gold. Costs you 1 gold, but you get an advance and you get a new spell.
Okay. I think for my advance, I'd looked at picking up another move from the Heretics playbook. I was looking at picking up Asylum.
Oh, okay. Is that the one where you get to immediately go to your sanctuary?
Yes.
Ooh, that is a very nice one.
And maybe I can take somebody with me, but who knows?
You can try it at least.
Exactly. It's a toss up.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, so we'll look at your fear. So when you're spiked, you're rolling at +1 with fear. Anything else you roll is at a -2. If you do roll with something else, then you can clear that all out. If you don't, if you keep rolling with fear, essentially it just gets ticked down every time you roll with fear until that's cleared out. Let's come to Samlin. Sherry, Samlin's mood is pretty okay, right?
Yeah, I didn't get to eat delicious godling, and that was a little sad for me. But I did have a high priest or whatever, some priestling, so that was fine too.
Yeah, the one who went through his chrysalis.
Yeah, and then I ate all his magic.
Yes.
So I look at this as a sort of meditative time for him.
Fair enough. And you don't have quite enough for an advance here yet.
I know, just rub it in.
And of course, you've got the upright sorcerer's office that are kind of on your tail, including Pedifog Just, who is kind of looking for you, right?
Yes. Well, so I hear. I actually think he's just trying to, spend more time around the third and honored daughter.
That certainly seems fair. You don't have any start a session moves, do you?
No, I don't. I'm pretty much all about the moment.
Wow. And it seems like there's probably, I don't think there's any other situation that you're involved with that's at all complex. Oh,
No.
wait.
Yeah, my life is.
If I recall correctly, your husband showed up.
My husband showed up with a Gorgon egg.
Yes. So Zarsul of Umberhaven
Yes.
is here. And he has fulfilled the quest that apparently you sent him on, or rather, the person you used to be before you ate them and became them as a doppelganger.
Yeah, that's a mysterious alchemy of an experience that I can't particularly explain to anyone. So I'm going to have to figure out how to transition Mr. Zarsul into his inevitable state of disappointment. But we'll see what happens.
I thought you were going to say death, not disappointment, but there we go.
I kind of like him. I mean, he brought me a Gorgon egg. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. So that is where you are. So what would you say? I know Garzula is sort of recovering. I know Zelda is looking at tracking down the person who owes you money. What's your agenda right now, Samlin?
Figuring out Zarsul.
Okay. All right. That makes sense to me. So I'm going to put a pin in those, and I'm going to come to Michael. Michael, tell me what you've thought about and decided for your character so far.
Okay, yeah. So I chose the Summoned playbook, which is sort of representing someone that came into the world without a clear picture of it, a newly awakened being struggling to understand their own emotions. And more specifically, I am a crystalline intelligence. Basically, some wizards were screwing around with some crystals, and they found a way to refract the structure within in order to sort of awaken this intelligence within the matrix. So, yeah, that's who I am.
And so, what does, and what's the character's name?
I went with Clever as the name.
What does Clever remember or envision about that whole process?
Yeah, I think it's sort of like waking up from an acid trip.
Okay.
Like I imagine that their intelligence was this sort of weird psychedelic thing that, alien to our human minds. And then that kind of all coalesced into some confusing, scary vignette, ultimately resulting in a groggy snap back to reality where you don't quite feel the same,
So it's not that he has the sense of being completely newborn, but rather a sense of a change to a completely new state.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's sort of newborn in the sense that, like, they didn't really have it's a new kind of thinking entirely. Like, I'm talking about an acid trip without a life of memory beforehand.
Do they have a sense that they existed before this, or no?
I don't think so. I think it was almost like they were just an audience member to this kaleidoscope sort of thing. Yeah.
And what do they look like?
So their primary distinguishing features, they have this crystal that sort of functions as their head, right? So like you've seen like those amethyst geodes that like are cut in half and you can buy them for $60 at the mall or whatever, right? That's kind of their head, so to speak. I think that there's like this sort of like shimmering glyph inside of the head that sort of spotlights that this is a magical being, right? And that when they're like awake, so to speak, that glyph is illuminated. And I think that they have like some sort of I think for a body, it's like an animated armor kind of thing. Maybe it's like a steampunk robot. Maybe it's like a magical homunculus thing. Whatever kind of fits the setting more appropriately. But
okay, no, I like that. Which do you think? Which do you like better?
I mean, I'm fine to just explain it away with magic
Okay.
rather than gears, and maybe it has tied to the crystal energy source in some way too. Yeah, but I think that this armor, this body was like made for them.
And with the summons, you get a kind of a limited set of those playbook picks, and they kind of open up your thing. And you starting with peace as your set stat.
Yes, that is currently the only emotional state that I possess.
And does that playbook give you magic, or does it give you gear?
I get advanced gear
Okay.
options.
So you don't have to do this right now, but I'm going to tell you. We have there's a tab that has gear and miscellaneous. You get 4 picks, essentially 4 things you can buy, and you can buy from the bright yellow advanced gear column rather than the pale, weak yellow standard gear.
Love it.
So those are the choices that are there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of rope you in to something that one of the other PCs is doing, if
Sure.
that's okay. And we can talk about your situation and agenda once we kind of get you a little bit of play. Does that sound cool?
Perfect.
So, Zelda, I'm going to come back to you. You've heard some information about the vanishing of your Crimson Gould friend, Paymaster. And you've heard that this stuff is going down in Red Tooth Town, which is the non-human section of town, which is great for Rasputin. But of course, you get some weird looks when you go there. How do you want to handle this?
First off, I picked my advance, and it is passed without trace from the assassin.
Okay.
Oh
yeah.
Seemed like it fit with my cat burglariness. I had said something about I was going to do it with the others, or at the very least, I had done it with Garzula.
Right. Garzula seems a little out of sorts, but you could go and get him.
So when we finished up with the temple, I will let them know I've discovered this little bit. Unless someone says, "Hey, it's dangerous," I'm going to say, I'm going to go and see if I can get any traces of him. And when I find him, I'll give a yell because it could be dangerous. There might be bugbears involved.
Bugbears?
That's the information I got.
It seems like almost everything. Oh, it seems like almost everything is dangerous now. This city is far more dangerous than I'd given it credit for.
It can be, but I'll go and see if I can get a good lead on him and be waiting. I'll send a message for you if I think we need it. I hope he's not dead. He owes us quite a bit of money.
Yeah. You see, Samlin will sort of sidle over so she's between you and the door, and she'll go, I should probably go with you.
Well, if you want, and
absolutely, I have nothing I need to be doing right here, so it will be fine. By the way, does anyone know what a Gorgon egg is for?
Ooh, I might know that. Let me think a minute.
Would you like to read the world?
I would really like to do that. Or could I? Or would it be analyze?
I think it's more read the world because you're picking up a bit of knowledge more than anything else.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I am going to try and clear that fear track by rolling with something else.
Absolutely. I think that is the best possible idea.
And hopefully that will give me some absolutely ridiculous and nonsense answer to give them about what that Gorgon egg is for.
So what is the state that you're rolling with then?
I think this is the kind of thing that that would normally like make him happy, because he is, I mean, knowing things and knowing the true uses and names of things are really what he's about.
Sure.
And normally that would be something that would give him joy. So
let's have you roll joy with a -2, and then you can clear your fear track.
All right. So joy is -2, right?
Yep.
That's it. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it becomes -2. Sorry.
Okay. The dice say 7, so that would be a 5.
That would be a 5. So Gorgon's eggs. Well, you think they might be actually, I mean, if you're recalling correctly in your lectures on these things, they might be really powerful channels for divine magic. Like they're really a really good way to actually protect and prevent divine attacks or influence or things like that. And you think actually this is a great talisman to prevent your friend from coming after you.
He really looks. He's thinking for a minute, and then he perks up, and he says, "The Gorgon's eggs can be used as a magical channel, but their main use would be protective. Like they could be used as a part of a charm to obscure you from the detection of various divine powers." I would.
That sounds terribly boring. Maybe I'll just hatch it and have like a daughter.
Yeah, that's what I would think Gorgon's eggs are for. They're for making Gorgons.
Yeah. But I thought maybe they had like some, interesting magical use. Like you put them in a podium and a big column would rise up and the city would lurch into the air and float away. That was what I was hoping.
Making yourself proof against the detection of gods is a very useful thing. Extremely useful. I mean, we've encountered at least one situation where basically having a god leave you alone would have been great.
Well, but having them there was handy too. Delicious. Just ask the cat.
He'll purr.
Shake my fist at him again. I mean, I get you. Power's dangerous, but it's also delicious.
Well, and they're particularly, those guys are particularly dangerous. If you don't have a use for the egg, I might have a use for it.
I'll speak to Zarsul.
Who?
Nobody.
So you will roll down to Red Tooth Town to check things out. And you are getting ready, Zelda, to kind of work your magic, use Rasputin, all of that kind of thing. When Rasputin does, what is his very visible physical signal to you that you need to do something?
I think like most cats, he will just sit there and won't look at me, pointedly not look at me, and clean himself. And if I'm moving, he just sits there. And if I say anything, he clearly doesn't hear. And it's clear that he has something on his mind, but I have to ask. Is there something you'd like, Ras?
And Rasputin will get up in a way that he's deigned to pay attention to you. And you will see you're in the streets, and a lot of the architecture in the city is weird. Red Tooth Town is weirder than most because a lot of the buildings have been hand constructed and built for very different, physical sizes, like the modrons that are here and all of that kind of thing. But you will see that there is a crystalline entity. You've probably seen these before. And you will see a couple of Tengu, the bird folk, with kind of a dark violet plumage. And they are chatting with him in a way that clearly Rasputin is bothered by. Let me ask you, Clever, what has convinced you that these two Tengu are here to help you?
They know my name.
Yes, clever. Yes. Clever. Yes. Oh, clever. We're here to help you. Yes, absolutely. The crystal. Shiny. Yes. Yes, new here you are in Red Tooth, right? Clever?
I'm new just about everywhere.
These things happen. So we are here. We are sent. This is our thing. This is what we do. This is our role. Clever, to help. So we are going to help you.
Oh, it must be nice to have a role.
It is, isn't it? No, yes, it is very much so. Yes, clever. Yes. Well, why don't you come with us?
Oh, perhaps I will.
Yes.
Perhaps through following you, I will find a purpose.
And they begin to move this crystalline entity out, and Zelda, you will definitely see that look pass between the two Tengu, like they're eyeing him about, how can we strip this guy for parts, kind of thing.
Okay.
And Rasputin goes, "You need to fix that."
Well, yeah, I think you're right. They don't look like they're very friendly. I'll look over. Samlin, you're with me, right?
You muted?
Gosh dang, I was just looking at the popsicles in the stand over there. I'm like, what? Yeah? Is blue good?
Yes, but I think those two have rather ill designs on that crystally figure. I think, Raspin, I think that it's a good idea that we find out what's going on.
All right. Let's go.
Garzula, are you with them as well?
I think he'd followed along just because, honestly, he's not sure he wants to be by himself at this point. He's over the fear is sort of dying off a little bit as he's focused on the possibilities of the Gorgon egg, but he's still a little bit on edge about it.
Sure. So, Clever, how do you approach this pair of scofflaw Tengu?
How do I approach them?
This is for Rasputin / Zelda. Let's start with them.
All right,
and then we'll see how you react, Clever.
Okay. I will. I'll sidle over there and say, "Excuse me. Excuse me."
Yes.
Yes.
Now
I'll look kind of past them towards Clever. Sir, are these your friends?
Yes. Of course, we're his friends, aren't we? We're helping, aren't we? Helping. We're helping Clever.
Yes. Of course, they're my friends.
Have you known them very long?
I haven't known anyone for very long.
Oh, that's kind of sad, I suppose, being alone in the city.
Sad.
Not alone. Not alone. We're here with him now. Both of us. Yes, yes. Here to help.
I have a feeling that you don't really have this gentleman's best interests in mind, though, do you?
Gasp, he says.
Did he say gasp?
Yes. He sidles over to you. He says, those are very strong words, little girl. Not good.
And I think you'll see sort of this drop of that friendly little girl look. I'm a very unfriendly little girl, bird.
And he kind of watches to see what's going on. Everyone's going, I don't know who these people are, clever, but they seem to not have. They seem to want us to not help you.
We would like you to not help yourselves to him. Yes.
Ooh, complicated word things. Clever, do you get that? Do you understand what he's saying?
I'm still calculating.
Is your name Clever?
Yeah, well, yes.
See, we knew his name.
They knew my name, so they must know me.
In pro quo. So credit him. Yep, absolutely.
Clever. I think that it's very likely. You see, you're in quite a dangerous part of town, and I don't think these two really know you. I don't think they really care about you at all.
How can you tell?
Those crystal chipping tools they have in their belts.
These are workman's tools. These are a practical set of tools used by everyday tinkers and other such folk.
Yes, to
I
chip
think
crystal.
calling them crystal chipping is unwarranted. Unwarranted. You
Yes,
do me wrong, sir.
Yes, perhaps they are crystal napping tools. You're right.
So, if you propose that they want to harvest me, what do you want from Clever?
Honestly, I don't want a great deal from you except your safety and maybe your friendship.
Why?
Well, you're unique. I've never seen anything quite like you, and honestly, you're quite pretty in the sun.
I'm pretty. I'd have to ponder that for a minute, I think.
Sure, please. Clever, you receive your food. And one of the Tengu kind of slides over towards where you're at, Zelda, and says, listen, if you back off now and I don't put my beak up in your eye socket.
I imagine that gets a little bit of a row out of Rasputin as he says that.
You also see Samlin all of a sudden looks far more interested than previously.
And they kind of didn't notice Samlin, like Samlin had been kind of hanging at the back, and now you see the two Tengu like squawk, like they're but the one has in your face still, Zelda.
Well, I have an awesome ability. It's called the voice.
Okay.
I would like to tell that Tengu to back off.
And how does the voice work? What does your ability do?
Essentially, I can alter my voice in order to give someone a command. It's
Your weirding module.
Resist. So, and then if it works, they have to do what I ask. They don't dare deviate. They're frightened, dismayed, or impressed.
Let's have you roll. What do you want to roll with for that, Samlin?
Oh, man. This is so awesome. See the-
joy, power.
Oh, I think it's power. I mean, there's a sort of pleasure to it, but this is also just me using that.
Then you get to mark that and clear your fear. And let's have you roll with a +1.
All right. Let's see here. Oh, I got to find the thing. Sorry. I didn't.
Subtly engaged leech. Here, I'm going to drop in the chat.
Yeah. It's also here. Got it. Let's see here. So Samlin Green +1. Do well, dices. Oh, that was good for a moment. 8.
8. So on a hit, let's look at this there. Sorry, of course, moved away from your weirding module.
Mm-hmm.
Choose one on a 7 to 9.
Let's see here. They do as I ask.
And what is it you're asking them?
I say, step away from my friend.
And you see, these are bad birds. And
I know.
they kind of done that thing where the Tengus kind of started to puff up the neck feather thing. And then what do the rest of them see or hear when you do that?
It's like time slows down. And when she says it, it's not like it's deeper or anything, but it has this weird significance feeling to it. And then everything goes back.
And the Tengu stops and takes a step back and does the thing where they put their arms up and both of them start to do the back off like, oh yeah, you're all hot guano, but we'll be back.
Looking forward to it.
Forward
to it. Yeah.
We'll get the whole flock and then we'll be back.
All right.
We'll have a throwdown.
Sounds good.
And they back off like they do. They're not scared, but they get out of your way.
Well, flock you too.
Wow. Gasp.
I look like, oh, that was super rude.
So it's they leave you alone, and the four of you can see how you wish to help Clever, or if you just want to abandon him here to the mean streets of the city.
You say you don't have any friends, or at least no one but new friends. Why is that, Clever?
I don't know how to befriend. I suppose that means I am alone. You said that being alone is sad?
Yeah, I can't imagine being alone.
I'd never thought about it that way.
Well, unlike them, my friends and I, we're nice people. And we're more than happy to have you, be our friend, and you can hang around with us, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. That's what real friends are like. You don't have to be with them. And Rasputin will give me kind of a side eye at that.
If it will make you happy, I will come along, but I'd ask that you would be patient with me because I'm still learning. I think I want to be a good friend.
Well, realizing that you're still learning is a good first step. We're all still learning, always. To cease learning is to be dead.
Oh my.
Or asleep.
Even in dreams, we learn.
Zelda, by the way, you agreed to Rasputin's course of action, so you get to mark XP.
Ooh,
and reduce Rasputin's hunger by 1.
thank you.
Do you wish to continue and look for your friend? What is your approach to that? Are you looking for a contact? Are you actually going to go in the sewers? What is your goal?
I will, I've told everyone, they said he went down to the sewers, and I kind of knew a place, right? I knew where they had run him into.
Yeah.
We could go down there and look. It's probably, well, I know it's been several weeks. So I don't know how well we could track him. But then again, he might just be dead in the sewer at the bottom.
That sounds incorrect. I have a theory. I think that what he does is he follows the omens, the red omens in particular.
Oh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about them. I just know they exist. I remember it slightly. But I figure Garzula probably knows about the red omens, and we should be able to track him with those. At least the part of the sewer he'd be in. Or perhaps our new friend knows about the red omens.
I perhaps know something. Let me see. And he metaphorically, he enters his mind palace and sees what he can recall.
That is read the world.
Okay. And I think this time I think he will roll with peace. Like he's feeling like he's getting back into his element again with this. So let's see how that works out. Let's see. That is a 5 on the dice, and plus, I think if I remember right, that's +1. Yes. So that is a total of 6.
That is a total of 6.
Can I assist him?
Let's look. I believe there is a basic move to help or hinder. So you're throwing in what you're doing. So go ahead, and what do you want to roll with?
Let's see here. I think that this is one of those things where, gosh, what would you call it when you're just kind of like remembering something that isn't really yours, but you're sort of saying it out loud? What is that? Would it be power, fear, sorrow, joy, peace, mad?
You tell me. You are the master of your own disaster.
Let's see here. Probably pieced out because I don't really have any sense of there being a threat associated with this.
Fair enough. Let's have you roll.
All right. I'm going to attempt to assist him. Come on, dices. Oh, no. I got a 5. Sorry.
Hold on just one second.
Yeah, I know. This is going to be great.
That's delicious. So you 3, now 4 are there, and you will see come out of one of these buildings that you're kind of getting ready to maybe, okay, we're going to look here or check on this kind of things. You will see this enormous red slotty being the big toad looking fellows. And there's a group of them, and you see they've come out, and you will see one of them kind of turn to like go to start talking, and his frog eyes go boom, like they get big and like literally like bulb out a second, and you will hear him go, "Oh, Sablin, go!" And you will see these slotty like all turn en masse, and they're all their eyes bug out, and they start waddling, fast waddle, but this slotty fast waddle towards you with these weird double-handed curved blades that they use, and there is I don't know what you call them, a murder of slotty coming your way to at certainly where Samlin is standing. The others appear to be collateral damage.
Oh, hey, I think I just found a red omen, and I start running the other way.
Are these friends of yours?
No!
So, would you like to run away? Is that what I'm hearing there, Samlin?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why. It was just this huge group of slotty that seemed sort of off.
Yes. Why don't you roll risk?
Oh, wait, what? How do you do that?
You choose a state and you roll risk.
I will use fear.
That seems appropriate.
Okay. So it gives me a 10.
10. So the four of you are standing there. The slotty take off. You ask if Samlin, if they're friends. Samlin says, no! And she's gone like a shot. She is down the block running away from this gaggle of murder slots. So what do you do, Garzula?
I look at the retreating back of Samlin. I look at Zelda and Clever. This was her show. I think we should follow her lead.
Are you also going to try and escape before they lay hands on you because you were there with Samlin?
Yeah, I'm going to try to hurry Zelda and Clever, because Clever seemed a little bit off as far as what expectations were. So I'm going to try and hurry them along, maybe like a defend or sort of thing.
I think actually we'll do this as a risk, and Zelda can assist if she wants.
Okay. And I will roll with.
Let's work that fear back up. How about?
Well, yeah, I think that's probably what is the most rational here is, like, we're building that back up.
Absolutely.
I'll see. That is an 8 on the dice with a fear of 0.
So
that is an 8.
So I think you are going to get slashed as you run. And you're going to take essentially 2 damage as one of the slotty throws a slotty bomb at you, and it kind of goes off with a lot of noise, more noise than damage, but it kind of explodes next to you, and you're going to take 2 damage. You have armor, so it's just 1.
And where do we note the damage on the sheet?
So the first thing you'll check is light.
Okay.
Clever, assuming that they are following Samlin, but assuming that you're with them and going and getting out, where do you think the group escapes to? Where is your safe place that you get to that you lose this flock of slotty?
Oh, I know a place. Quickly up this ladder. I think it's like, so I have somebody who's been keeping me safe. It's part of my background.
Yeah.
So I think it's a wizard named Thaddeus. So I think that Thaddeus has like a little wizard den near here that we could hide out in.
And Thaddeus is there, and he's like, "Oh, so home so early it is. Oh, have you? Oh my God, there's so many of you now in this very small space here. Oh, that's very unexpected. That what I was thinking was going to happen today. Oh, and a cat. You brought a cat in the place too. How? And an orc. That's 2 orcs, or maybe an orc and a half. I'm uncertain. I'm not going to say any more. Not sure what the nomenclature is for this. So, Clever, who are your friends?
Yes, my friends. Please let me introduce you.
That would be good, since we're pressed in quite a space here.
Did Samlin make their way over here too?
Samuel, did you?
I see myself as having been running along, turned around, seen they weren't behind me anymore, checked to see where they were, saw, the sort of heels of Garzula disappearing into an alley and sort of doing Yui over to the alley to join them.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I think I kind of usher you up one at a time then, and this is Garzula, and this is Zelda, and Samlin. I know their names. We are friends.
And this is Rasputin.
I think that Thaddeus and I kind of have this deal. He hasn't told me a lot about my origins or whatever, but I think he's just observing me, and he likes to hear like what I like to do and what I've been up to.
Well, come in, all of you. You are welcome to take a breather here in the midst of your busy days.
I knew that this trapdoor into the sewer would come in handy one day, Thaddeus.
It is a thing that has happened, that has occurred, and I'm very. That is a thing. What is it precisely you were running from?
Oh, they were slotty, and Samlin did not like them.
No, red slotty are the worst.
So he says. So there was a clouder of slotty that were following you.
Is that the word for it?
Yes, it is.
It's a nasty sounding word. That seems right.
It is. Well, you're welcome to spend a few moments here to catch your breaths in this place before I ask you to leave.
That's very nice of you.
Yes. If could I ask a favor though? If I could have the cat remain on the far side of this tiny room.
I'll look at Rasp.
Allergic, huh? Yeah.
He sort of. Rasp is like no. Rasp says, "Put me over there."
Over on the other side of the room or next to him?
No, put me in his face. Rasp says, you see him get that look like, yeah.
I'll pick him up, and he's a friendly kitty. You see?
Just not. No, it's just not.
Just pet him.
Not
He
cats.
likes you.
No, please. That just not cats. Just and.
But Thaddeus, he likes you.
I'm sure he does, but it's not cats I'm worried about. It's what he is, and he'll kind of push back on Rasputin, and Rasputin gives him that full-on eyes, like, "Don't say another word."
Raspy.
And Thaddeus goes, "Okay."
Rasp, be nice. Good kitty. And I'll sort of back a little bit away from him, but I'll hold Rasp. I think that, provided he doesn't want to jump down, I'll keep him in my arms for this. Can I ask something mechanical real quick?
Absolutely.
Just to engage, Michael, do you feel like that me coming and rescuing you was a debt?
Yeah, I wrote that down. I didn't know what it meant, but I was like, if I owe anybody a debt, it's probably Zelda.
All right, cool. I was just wondering if that fit because I didn't know if Clever would recognize it as such or whatever. Okay, cool.
So you will have some time to catch your breaths and get back together and form a plan now that the slotty have headed off to go into probably head back to drinking their mushroom wine and
Samlin, why didn't they like you?
I have a vague memory of. Yeah, they have perfectly good reasons.
Okay. I guess we all make enemies.
It was an inadvertent mishap with an ashtray. That's all I can say.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll have to avoid them. Do we still think it's best for us to go looking for these red omens? Was that a red omen that was maybe saying, don't go that way?
Yes, I think it's leading us towards Coxinius for sure.
All right. And we're here in a grotto in the sewers already. Is that right?
Is that where you're at, Michael?
Yes. So, wrong button.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think, wizards always pick the weirdest place for dens. I'm not quite sure why he's chosen this one in particular, but I'm imagining like classic trapdoor with the ladder going down, and then like shelves stocked with reagents and weird things in jars and skulls and candles and books and all those things. Very tight. I think I'd probably say something like, now, it's very important to be careful around the reagents. Right, Thaddeus? And he gives me this look. Yeah. Because I'm a pretty big and unwieldy fellow.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nope, go on.
Oh, well, maybe we can leave this very nice man's place here and go. Is there a way out, Mr. Thaddeus, from here into the sewers in general?
He says, yes, you can make your way out to some of the transits. You'll probably need, if you need to go any further, you'll probably need to find a mudlark to assist you. And
I know what those are.
Yes. They're the rapscallions and kids that pick through the sewers and the runoffs to get things. But they also act as tour guides for people who need to get places, under the streets.
That's probably who we should have been looking for to begin with. Samuel and Garzula. They'll know anything that happened down there. Here. In the sewer.
Right. Just doesn't feel very sewery in here.
No, it's quite nice.
There's a number of enchantments to keep it dry. I also have a dehumidifier. But besides that, yes, it's a place.
Do you ever take on students? I've really been wanting to study with someone.
No. And he looks at Rasputin. He's like, no, I wouldn't want to get between you and your cat.
Well, okay. Oh.
Well, look at the time. There's the exit.
All right, let's go.
Clever. Will I see you later?
Yeah, I think I linger at the ladder.
Clever.
Yes. What is it, Thaddeus?
Be careful around that cat.
I will try not to crush it.
If the cat tells you to do something, don't do it.
Thaddeus, when you are alone, do you feel sad?
Yes, but that's why I have alcohol.
Alcohol. Interesting. I'm gonna go down the ladder.
this is a good place for us to take our 5-minute or so break, and we will come back with a trip into the sewers, which no urban fantasy game would be the same without. So there we'll go.
It's so nice seeing you, Michael. It's been ages since we've gotten to play together.
It's nice to play with you as well, Tyler. This is a really fabulous crew.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good folks in this. Old's done a heck of a job with it. It is super neat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just was really intrigued by the idea. And yeah, Lowell really delivered. As far as at least reskinning goes, it's very impressive indeed.
How have you been?
I've been doing really well. The weather is actually getting really nice out here, so I've been enjoying that.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the pollen to stop. I've been stuffed up all to hell.
Oh, you know, that hasn't gotten to me yet, but I have a feeling it will eventually.
Where are you again?
I'm in Illinois, central Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah.
We started a month and a half ago with it just being the yellow wave here in South Carolina of pollen. So get to summer and it'll stop.
Yeah, I hear that like on the coasts that's a bigger deal. Like California deals with that too, right? So I don't know. We have milkweed, I think it's a pollen out here. Pollinator. Don't know.
We get an ass load, and people have made these Bartlett pear trees that are ornamental pear trees, but all the cities decided that rather than have natural trees, they would only get the ones that were male, so they wouldn't have any fruit on them falling into the streets. Seemed like a lovely city planning idea, except they all produce pollen.
Oh, yeah. Hadn't thought about that.
I mean, so in a day you can walk out to your car and it will just be covered in yellow.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's like some Martian stuff. I don't know about that.
It's crazy.
Well, in my town, downtown, they have some ginkgo trees.
Mm.
And I don't know if you've ever smelled squashed ginkgo fruit, but it's not pleasant.
Oh.
It basically smells like a skunk.
Yeah. When the heat hits that, when the temperature rises on ginkgo, yeah.
Oh. Ugh.
So beautiful leaves. Smell not so great.
Lowell, I was wondering, when you level up in this, is there no option for increasing stats?
There is an option for increasing. You can increase each of the stats once.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Speaking of stats, and states, what is my starting number?
Oh, that's a good question.
On my one state.
Let me look at that. Pull up my copy of the Veil itself here.
So I have the reference sheets up, but
I think I need to look actually at the playbook quickly for the original thing. Hang on one second. Open. Download. Oh, so you do the usual assigning of numbers to your states.
Okay.
+2, +1, +1, 0, 0, -1, but those are locked until you unlock them.
Okay. Cool. Another thing I wanted to check.
Sure.
And I'm kind of cross-referencing here. I have this cool move called Rise. It's what helps me unlock some of those emotions and other things.
Mhm.
It says you consume your soul, and it gave soul a big capitalization there. So, like, is that a resource I have?
Yeah, hang on. It is.
I think that the apparatus calls it humanity, but I'm not sure how
Yes.
that's generated.
Humanity harm. Let me quickly look at the thing. It's good we're trying these out. Drive. Sherry is just about back.
Oh, I think I look at the Abyss Stairs back move. The hold I think I get from that is the soul.
Choose an option for the rise move.
Here it says on a 10 plus, you generate 2 humanity. On a 7 to 9, you generate 1 humanity. And one of the things you can spend it on is an option from the rise move.
Yes.
Cool. So that same hold from Abyss Stairs back is the soul. Okay.
Is the soul. Yeah. That's it's a rough reskin.
One last question here. Not to overload you right after the break. You already asked me some questions about myself, but I have the beginning of session move.
Oh yeah, let's roll and do that.
Okay, cool. What color is my column? Blue. I will choose blue then. Oh, cool. A total of 11, which is a success, which means on a hit, the MC asks you a question and answer it.
Okay.
See that list of birth questions there?
Yeah. Do you think you were damaged when you came into this world? You talked about that transition between states.
Are you asking me if I feel like I was damaged?
Yeah.
Or if I was damaged?
I think you can answer that either way and frame it. I mean, say, I think my character doesn't know, but I know, or give us how you think created is taking, or clever is taking it.
Yeah. I don't think I do. I don't think I was. I don't feel like I do. I think that I still dream. And when I dream, it's similar to that state of color and symbol and shape.
Is there a particular color that you dream in?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it's always multiple colors, but there's usually a dominant color. But it seems to be different every time I sleep.
Nice. So the four of you move further into the sewers here. And unlike what you might expect of these kinds of places, this is a city that is built on magics. There's a city's built on magics that have layered and combined and miscabilitied over the years. And so the sewer themselves are actually easy to see in with when you have a light or a torch, things like that, because the walls themselves are almost kind of whitewashed. The stone is not brown or gray or black. It's definitely it's light gray and it's white. And the filth that you're moving through is like whatever magic hits it, like kind of tries to purify it. And maybe at one point in time it did. Maybe at one point in time it did clear out all the sewage and the awfulness and the smell. That's broken down. And so now all it does is it turns all of it various shades of white, eggshell and ecru and pale, all of that. And so everything has been sort of bleached out as you're walking through it. And that is one of the things it does over time when people are down here, is it does essentially leach the color out of clothing, out of boots, out of skin. So, but that's a long-term thing. So the four of you are moving through that. Eventually we'll come to one of these junctions where someone has built kind of a little bit of a rise, a little framework, so they're not sitting down in the sewers, kind of can step up onto it. And there are a group of young teens, some even younger, that are clearly going through. They've got essentially sifting buckets and things like that, and cloth and stuff, and they're picking through. But they all kind of, they hear the sloshing of you as you approach, and you see them turn. They all have hats on, like caps that are tight down on their heads, and they have pointy ears, but they've kind of got those covered up a little bit. And one of them will kind of step to. They have knives up their sleeves, razor blades in their heels. They're sharp and nasty. And when you kind of walk up, the biggest of them kind of looks and will say, "Hail."
Hi, Mudlarks. We're looking to hire a guide.
Whoa, guide to where you're headed. What's going on? Can't just say guide.
Ooh.
What do you want?
Well.
Are you doing a tour?
A tour with a destination in mind?
That's not really a tour, is it?
No, that's why I said guide.
What are you looking for?
Guy named Coxinius.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know who he runs with.
Do you know where he is down here?
I know where he could be.
I'll tell you what, if he could take us there, we'll give you a cut of what he owes us.
I don't work on spec.
I'll flutter my eyelashes a little and say, "It would really be a big help," and kind of smile over at him.
All right. I think that you are trying to sway him to keep him from demanding a gold from you.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Trying to keep his upfront costs down here.
And I suppose I'm going with, I don't know. I so seldom have anyone who's the appropriate age to flirt with. I run with these older folks, and so I think I'm going to feel power on this one. So I'll mark power. Or joy. I think I'll mark joy.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. I think I'm happy about this. So, boop. Oh. he may bet for the other team. I rolled snake eyes.
He looks and he goes, yeah, okay, no, you don't have to pay me up front.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'll coquettishly sort of smile and giggle.
He said, let me take you to him. And he will proceed to lead the four of you through the sewers. What is the thing that you notice? What is the detail that you see as you travel along that speaks to this unusual magic that's going on here? And for this one, I'm asking as Samlin. Samlin, what do you see?
So the thing that I see is, you know, how the walls are sort of bleached white and everything. But the thing that's really weird to me is that before they quite resolve, when you're walking in the dark and there's going to be some more wall in front of you, instead of seeing walls, what it looks like is that there are like flags waving. It almost looks like there's like flags in the wind, white, like lots and lots of pale colored flags. Maybe once they had color, and it like looks like that. And then when you get up there, and it all kind of like they just stop fluttering, and then they go solid and look like those walls. But it's like this weird recurring visual illusion.
Mm. Nice. And Garzula, besides the what we see in terms of the visuals of this, what are the other sensory impressions we get? Sound or smell, even taste here?
I'm not going to think about the taste part because that is nasty.
Okay.
I think you get the bleaching effect also creates this sort of noise pollution down here. It almost gives you this sort of sense that you might be developing tinnitus. There's this sort of low buzzing of the magic, sort of, for lack of a better term, like rubbing against each other constantly to do all this different stuff that they had down here. And you kind of hear that right at the edge of your senses, and it's just kind of even after you get used to it, it would just still grates on you a little. And the smells are this weird kaleidoscope. Like it smells different like every step you take. Like you take another step and it's like, oh, this kind of smells like I'd expect a sewer to smell. And then another step, this smells like a garden of lavender. Another step, this smells like a hog pen. This smells, and it keeps going. Like every step is something slightly different, or just outlandish, or maybe even something completely unrecognizable. Like this smells purple.
Very nice.
I like it down here.
And
it's very interesting.
Clever. What is your reaction when you kind of break out, and the sewer kind of opens up a bit? There's a passage there, and you see chunks of broken crystal, bits and pieces, some of it shaped a little bit like you, some of it not, on this pass through. They're like you're not sure if it's Detritus or there was a fight or what.
I think, I'll probably stoop down and like kind of pick up some of these pieces very gently, with great care. And I'd probably kind of muse out loud, like, I remember being underground once. It wasn't quite like this, but I remember.
And you four will come into an area that he's kind of dropped down where you've actually kind of had to go down steps, like cut in. We've described the before the city's kind of built on various layers, and there is that kind of tight going down of 2 or 3 floors worth of stairs going down into an area. And you will come out and you see it's a bigger room, like almost like a den, like it's a like a guild space in some ways. Like you see people are kind of around at the sides and things like that, kind of in the shadows here. Place has clearly been painted, so it's not quite so bright white in here. And there are probably a couple of dozen people here in various spots. You know, maybe they're drinking, maybe they're talking, maybe they're sharpening things. They're off in different corners of this place. And you will see this kid, this mudlark, kind of brings you in and kind of steps off to the side. And you will see this figure on a throne, kind of like very much sort of driftwood and detritus throne. And you will see him go, "Well, thank you. I knew that eventually you would have to go through the sewers, Zelda."
Oh, dearie dear.
What does Cest Stormaker look like?
I think since it sounds like he's in the sewers, I think that his skin is, that powdered white, of like powder from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's bald. I think he's thin, and there's, his cheekbones are so sharp, it almost makes him look skull-like with this whiteness of his face. But his body is muscled and that kind of whipcord sort of, tough as leather look. And what's noticeable is he probably at one point had very dark eyes, but his time here has made them pale, 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 so that his pupils, when they stare at you, really look like they're boring into you.
Nice. So, gentlemen, lady, I have business with your little friend and her little cat Rasputin, too. The 3 of you may go.
I think I just start to turn like, okay.
Well, I'll look around. Is there anything of value here?
Yeah, they probably have some stuff. This guy runs kind of a network, and certainly Zelda was involved in trying to get some stuff, and so he's probably procured things. Is he a thieves guild? Is he just a fence? Is he an assassins? What do you think that is? Tell me about Cest there before I finish Sherry's answer, Tyler.
Well, we have him as the Gilded Basin, so I think that he's probably a fence. He's probably works for them getting stuff that's stolen, and he passes it along.
So yes, there's definitely some valuable things here.
Oh. And I think I'll just stay where I am, standing next to Zelda, but I'll lean over and I go, "Dibs on the tacky statue next to her elbow."
What do you do, Garzula?
Garzula, he puts a hand on on our big crystal friend Clever, and he says, "I think he means he wishes to harm Zelda, not that he has any legitimate business with her."
Well, sometimes I wish people would just say what they mean.
That would be very helpful. And Garzula turns back and he says, if you choose to have business with Zelda, then you will choose to have trouble with me.
Seth, this doesn't have to go down like this.
Well, how is it going to go down?
I mean, I paid a hell of a price myself.
And what price did you pay? Because I heard you were dead, and here you are walking around. Seems to me you faked your death just to get out from your obligations.
You can see that I'm not exactly the same as I was when we dealt. Death, there are worse things that could happen, and I had to go through them.
Are you actually standing there and saying to me that, oh, geez, I died and then I got younger? That's a price you paid? Because where I'm sitting, that looks like a pretty sweet deal.
Then maybe you should talk to Rasputin.
No. Listen, you owe me. And I was going to take it out of your hide and your little cat Rasputin's too. And don't think I can't. But I have a job for you.
That seems fair.
And if your friends want in on it, then I can arrange coin for them.
What's the job, Sass?
Oh, no, don't. Are you going to take the job to clear your debt?
I can't speak for my friends. I'm not going to ask them to go into danger without knowing. But yeah, it's only fair, Sass. I'll take the job.
Excellent. So, you know the storm dragon that's wrapped around the Airy?
Yeah.
Sometimes some of those storm zapper ozone people go and do things. Last week, one of them got really ballsy and went up there with a makeshift lightning rod that he stabbed into the neck of Lemna.
Oh, shit. Oops.
Yes. And here's the thing. Lemon was not happy. You may recall that snowstorm that washed over. That's because it went high up in the area, and that's how it got washed out. Here's the thing. This little trust fund punk that did this stole a bunch of things from his family's vaults to make this device.
Okay.
Good stuff. Sweet stuff. Now, my people are too hot and too low level and too attached to not falling 100 feet to their deaths. But you seem like the perfect person to climb up to Dragon and retrieve that sphere for me.
Well, Sast, I said I'd do it, and surely the dragon wouldn't mind getting a spear out of its neck. I mean...
Well, I think you may find dragons have a different set of priorities.
Yeah. All right, Sast. I'll do it. Don't suppose you'll answer me a question real quick, though, would you?
Sure. Hold on. Let me. And you see him open up, like reach in. He pulls out this bag, and he's kind of going through it, even as he's talking to you. Go on. What's your question?
You haven't heard about, and what's our guy's name that we owed money by?
Coxinius something or other.
Coxinius. You haven't seen Coxinius down here, have you?
He's holding the bag, and he goes, and you see him lift this head out. You mean me?
Oh. Huh.
He had some paperwork of money he owed you.
Yeah.
And he gestures to one of his people. And he pulls out some coin purses and he hands it to one of his people, who walks over to where you guys are at and holds out 3 blood-soaked coin purses.
Excellent.
It goes with a wet plop in your hands when he puts it there.
That's awfully nice of you, Sass. Thanks.
I am a scholar and gentleman.
Absolutely.
The person comes over to you, Garzula. Do you take the bloodied coin purse?
He sort of looks at it. He sort of holds it with 2 fingers.
And then they'll bring the coin purse over to you, Zelda.
I'll definitely take my payment.
Okay. So each of you will get the two gold that you were promised.
That's that. He's a good businessman. I will mark that kid that let us in a trap, though, and remember him.
He tips his hat, Governor.
Hey, brought us to Coxinius. Good job. I'll pull open my purse and I'll throw him a bloody coin.
Sure. It goes, no, on the house.
Oh, awesome.
And says, I'll have one of my other lackeys take you back on up.
Thanks, Sast.
And one of the other ones that he nods to, this young woman gets up and gestures for you to follow her. And takes you over into what's clearly a mining lift. Like it must go down deeper into some of the mines, but it's used here. And has you get on it, and
I think I might linger at the elevator. And I turn to Cest and
I don't know you.
Are these people your friends? And I kind of like gesture at like his like lackeys or whatever around the room.
No, I don't think any of these people are my friends.
Does that make you sad?
No. It's better to be feared than loved.
I'll nod and get on the elevator.
and this young one will put you into all of you into the elevator, and then you hear the grunting, and somewhere down below, as she kind of pulls on a pull cord, there's people are clearly engaging gears, and once the gears get engaged, like the thing shoots up at super high speed upwards, and within 20 minutes you are back up on the surface, out into the center of the city.
Once we're away from the prying eyes of our our friend Zast, Garzula says, those coins may be cursed or enchanted in some way. Perhaps you should let me scry-proof those coins that he gave us.
What? I was just going to spend them.
Well, if you're going to spend them quickly, I'm just worried he may use them to track us.
Yeah. I got to buy something for Zarsul. If you're going to marry someone, what do you buy him?
A ring?
Really?
That's what I've been told.
All right, I'm going to go buy a ring.
I think you should buy a big scary mask.
That is a custom in some orc tribes, but I don't understand what the context would be for Samlin.
Well, it's better to be feared than loved.
Who told you that?
Just something I picked up.
That's not generally the case, especially hopefully not in a marriage.
You see, Samlin's thinking very deeply. Huh.
That's fantastic. I'm sorry to have put y'all in danger. I mean, I'm stuck doing this, but this is horribly dangerous. I wouldn't ask any of you to help.
We're friends because you don't have to ask us to help.
Yeah, and I'll get Zarsul to help us. He's good at heroic stuff.
Who's Zarsul?
There's a word for this. She stops. My fiance.
When did you get a fiance?
Congratulations.
That's why I need a ring or a mask.
Is he orcish?
No.
I don't know of any human custom that would require a Zargon mask.
But if it's better to be feared than loved. Wait, which of us is supposed to be feared?
Is this some sort of human thing? He looks over to Zelda. Is that something that you do in your marriages? I confess I don't know all of your customs.
I think the only people who say that are people who aren't loved.
This is so confusing.
Yes, it is.
Garzula, what does the spell that you do to make sure that the coins aren't being tracked? You have the scry-proof spell. What does that look like when you cast it?
Well, I think you see him. He'll place all of the coins together, and what he does is he traces several runes in the air, and the runes basically cast false names over the coins. So it's effectively like a baffle Like it's just baffling any attempts to scry their location or use any sort of scrying magic with regards to the coins. I'm
Perfect.
presuming everybody's thrown away the blood-soaked baggie that that they came in, and so I'm not going to worry about doing anything with those.
Rasputin's finished licking hers clean.
Yeah.
So Samlin, you want to go buy a ring?
Yes.
Shall we do maybe a once around and then bring the group back to look at this next step? Does that seem fair?
Yes.
So Samlin, what kind of ring do you buy? An iron ring? A gold ring? Silver ring?
I don't know. I think she finds a ring that kind of sings to her.
Well, when you enter a place to find something, let's have you roll the bizarre move.
Okay. That sounds good. Let's see. I have to choose what kind of roll I'm making, right? This is very hard. This is the hardest game in the whole world.
Do you go to a big place? Like, do you go to the market? Or do you go someplace smaller?
No, I let Samlin walk me around sometimes. Like sometimes her memories go to the same places. So I go there.
All right. So probably a guild sanctioned place, probably a bunch of merchants, probably does have guards, so that's +3. And probably is at least some sort of criminal activity here. So why don't you go ahead and roll that with a +2?
Okay. And then do I choose a thing as well? An emotion?
Well, that's a really good question.
Or is this a emotionless maneuver?
I think you roll with an emotion too. I have to check that, but I think you do.
I would say that since I'm letting Samlin do the walking right now, because I literally am not particularly moored, I will use power.
Okay.
So I rolled a 7, and that's a +3, so that's a 10.
It's a 10. So yeah, tell me what this ring looks like that sings to Samlin.
I think it's a nice big chunky ring, and it has it's made of a sort of let's see here, like a burnished gold, but a gold that looks like an older gold, like you know how it's not tarnished, but it gets that deeper color to it, but it's been burnished, so it's not super shiny.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that she likes about it is it has a stone in it, and the stone has like the same pattern on it that the Gorgon egg has.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, so you will get that, and you'll pay your coin for it, and you've got a good looking ring.
And I broke again.
Yes. We'll come back to you. But let's talk to Garzula. Garzula, what are you up to?
Let's see. I think
Christian, you're a little quiet. Do you have a way to turn your mic up a little?
is that better?
It's a little bit better.
Okay. Basically, what? Let me try this. Is that any better?
Swear.
Oh, sorry. But basically, what he's going to do is he's going to relax with some noodles in the interim.
Go to that shop again.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. And sort of meditate on what exactly is going to be needed to deal with this dragon tower situation. So he's going to meditate on what he remembers about dragons, that particular tower, and what other entities or parties may be based in that tower that might interfere with what we're trying to do.
So that definitely seems like an analyze.
All right. Let's see. Let's see. I'm thinking that would be a. He's going to go with power this time.
Okay.
Because he's settling in to use his particular set of abilities, and that is a total of 11.
It's 11. So you've got 3 hold.
And also have the Gaze into the Abyss move, which lets me ask one of a list of questions in addition to any of the others.
Okay. Let's hear them.
Okay. Well, those moves are: how close are the persecutors? Who here is keeping secrets from me? Who here is most afraid? And who here would do what I ask, if anyone? And I think I'm going to decide that question last.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So out of my regular analyze, I have 3, and
okay.
I'm going to ask, what's the best way into that tower that will cause the least fuss?
You want to play it real cool. The Eyrie is a tower for lots of different flying creatures, and it's one of the highest towers. And the Cloud Dragon is curled around it, and where you expect the head and where this thing is going to be is in the High Garden at the top of the Eyrie. So you're going to want to play chill until you get up there, or use an alternate method. Because the other thing being that the Storm Riders Academy, the Flying Police Force, they also have their HQ in the Eyrie. So you need to be as quiet as you can for as long as you can. Does that seem like a fair answer?
That seems fair. What the second question would be: what, if anything, appears out of place? Like, is there something that seems off about the tower since that incident, or something like that? Or if there's a particular agitation in one of the various parties that are in the tower?
You suspect that the sort of the thing that has been surprisingly quiet when you kind of hit the streets and look at this is, while the ozone people are clearly kind of agitated and they would like to, they've made some noise about this. The family that this was stolen from have been remarkably quiet about it. So either they are trying to keep it quiet so they can arrange their own extraction of the goods, or there's something else going on with them.
And how is let's see, I'm trying to think which question might fit this. Basically, what he wants to know is, what would be the best way to remove the spear without agitating or basically triggering the dragons, getting really pissed off and frying us with lightning or something?
You are going to need to numb or anesthetize the dragon, because here's the thing is, regardless of whether it's stabbed into the dragon, that's still treasure, and it's a dragon. And so the dragon probably by this point considers that part of their hoard.
Okay, so it would be thinking that we're trying to steal its latest body piercing.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I think you've got one more question from the Abyss.
For my Abyss move. So let me see. Who in the tower situation, in that tower, is most afraid?
There are a set of people who are in the tower, who are, how do I put this? Doing community service for the tower. And imagine that they're doing community service for a big tower of flying things like harpies and dragons and things like that. So essentially, the janitorial staff for the area is probably the group that is most frightened operating within there right now.
I can see where they are. Harpies are legendarily disgusting.
Yes. Clever. When you have time to yourself, while your friends are doing things, what do you do?
I'm going to buy some alcohol.
Okay. So we will assume, do you go to a tavern or do you go to a brewery or what? Or do you go to an alchemist?
I'm looking. I think I go to like a bazaar, open air market kind of place, because I want something in a bottle,
Okay.
something portable.
So yeah, you will stop in, and of course, you come in, and there, yes, absolutely. We have rice wine. We have this, and they'll give you a little shot of things to try.
Unfortunately, I do not have a digestive system.
After the third one, somebody says, you really, I don't think that you're going to get what you want from us. But you might want to go to an alchemist. He might be able to provide you with what you require.
This should work. Can you tell me which of these brings you the most comfort?
Brings me or will bring you?
Yes, I value your opinion.
Well, then I tend to go with a medium range sochu. Not too pricey, and I can drink a lot before I get ill.
Oh, that sounds perfect. I will buy 3. 4.
Fair enough, good sir. And he will hand you 4 bottles of a well-made rice wine for gold.
Thank you.
Good luck with that.
Yes. I want to give these as a gifts at some point. So
Okay. So we assume you've got some sort of what does he do for transporting things? Does he have a bag? Does he have clothing on? Tell me what that looks like.
yeah, so I think he has on like a toga sort of thing, I imagine.
Mhm.
That kind of just sits over his armor and kind of obfuscates any consideration of what his gender may be,
Mhm.
or at least of the armor. I don't know how intricately detailed they make armor out here, but maybe they do have a good old-fashioned codpiece. But regardless, wow, went off on a tangent there. I think I think he's got like a shoulder bag that he carries, like his like magical recording sphere. It's part of his gear, and yeah, he doesn't have a lot of possessions
Okay.
in there.
But
Though.
you've got kind of satchel that you can put these bottles in.
Sure.
Okay, that makes sense to me. All right. Let's come to Zelda. Rasputin says, all right, now we duck out on this. We let those other people be the patsy and we're all good.
Raspy, no. We can't do that.
This is going to get us killed.
But Raspy, they're our friends, and we need them. When we're just us.
All you need is me. You don't need anyone else but me.
But we together need other people. It makes us safer. It helps us learn, and we make more money. Raspy, you know that you're the most dear thing to me in the world. But we can't just keep going at it alone. It gets us into trouble.
And that is the perfect time. Then, yeah, Raspy makes that sound and gets pissy with you for the rest of the day.
Okay, but yeah, that's one I just...
You don't mark XP, and his hunger does not diminish. So what are you up to?
First off, I will have made sure that Clever, like, that we know where to meet each other. I will have done all these things to, make sure our new friend knows where we can find him and that sort of thing. And I was intrigued to find out you wear clothes, you have armor on. Is that what you're saying?
The armor kind of is my body.
Okay, so it's not like you have plate armor on or anything like that. It's just part of your body.
Yeah, like a walking statue kind of looking thing almost, yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, that's neat. But I'll make sure that he knows where we're going to be. And then I want to go buy that armor. Maybe that'll make Raspy a little happier if I get us that armor. And that was the reason I wanted to get paid. So I'm wanting to go do that, and I also want to pick up a jaunty hat for Clever.
A jaunty hat? What kind of jaunty hat?
I'm thinking a little like that the Robin Hood style hat. I think that would look good on him.
With a feather?
Oh, absolutely. You must have the feather. Otherwise, it's just not a proper hat.
Okay, fair enough. I understand. So yeah, you can go and do that. Do you usually go to the market or you go somewhere else?
I imagine I probably go to the market. I don't. Now it is magical. We had determined. So if there's somewhere particular I have to go, I'll be doing that.
The market definitely has lots of things. So I think if you want to roll Emporium, you can roll with that same +2 because the bazaar is open and massive and huge.
Okay,
and that to describe again, it is like a big indoor mall. The bazaar that they've built up. Others have fallen down. This one hasn't fallen down yet. And there are different levels, and some have food courts and things like that. There's a big sort of open air atrium, and so it could take you all day just puttering around there.
Okay, awesome. So I have the +2. I think that's so rare for me to roll when I'm feeling upbeat. Do we think it's peace or power that I'm happy that I have the money? What's happy?
That's up to you. Joy.
Yeah, I guess it's joy. I'm rolling with joy then. Woohoo! I got a 10.
So you get it. Tell me what you get precisely.
Well, I was looking for armor that would be quiet and that would adjust itself when I can wear it, and then when we come together, it's on Rasputin and I both. And it's fairly light armor. It's I think it's leather, and I think that it's done in it's black, but it's velveteen covered, and it's probably made from actual displacer beast hide.
Oh yeah.
So it's got that velveteen cover to it, and then in the back piece, they've etched in the stylized tentacle extra arms that are kind of across the back. And while it has some metal studs, they're all blacked out. And that it does have that habit of when it sits on you, it almost feels like or seems like it oozes onto you, like it's really tight form fitting.
So I think we said that was 3 gold. Is that what we said?
We did indeed. And the jaunty hat?
I will throw the jaunty hat in for free.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Merchant. I appreciate it.
Yes. He seems like he wants to get this displacer beast armor out of his shop. Like people, clearly other people that don't have a demon familiar mentor, it makes them uncomfortable, whereas you seem to be relatively immune to that.
And I'll show it to Rasp, like imagine he won't let me pick him up, but Rasp, look, it's all soft. Just don't sulk, Rasp.
Oh yeah, you'll get that, and it's lovely. And you look striking.
Excellent.
Samlin.
Yes.
You've got a ring.
I've got a ring.
What do you want to do?
I'm going to go and see Zarsul.
He's still waiting at that place for you.
What? No. Whoops. I forgot.
Good, you're back.
I am.
All right. So
I got you something.
you didn't have to get me anything.
I did. And I handed him the ring.
Oh. This what is this?
Well, because we're like gonna get married, right? Like proper.
Oh, and you see him stop, and he says, yes. I suppose I when I gave you your ring, and I had my own, but this sort of reciprocates that. I'll put mine on, and you can put yours on. There's probably a flash of you, a guy with a jeweler's loop. Yes, we'll give you 4 gold for it. You remember that?
Do I remember what it looks like?
Yes, vaguely, yes.
All right, well, I'm a shapeshifter.
You are.
I will go. That's right. I kept it here all along. And it's just, there's not really a thing for that, is there?
There it is. What do you think this is? Risk to do this right? Or do you think it's divert?
Probably maybe divert.
Okay, let's have you roll divert
Okay.
to shape change the ring onto your finger.
Okay.
So he doesn't notice that your previous self pawned his wedding ring.
All right. Here's the thing is, I want you to understand that it's the first time that Samlin has the flash that maybe past Samlin wasn't the nicest person in the world. And goes, that was like a betrayal. Okay. Huh. I will roll with fear.
Okay.
I rolled an 11 plus 2. That's a 13.
So what does that look like? What do we see on screen with you do this? With you doing
see
it?
her reach in to like her shirt, and she undoes a necklace that you can see she's wearing. She never shows him what's at the bottom of the chain. She reaches down beneath her shirt to pull out a ring, which is really just herself kind of extended there. And she remembers enough how it looks so that he sees it from the side. And then
he puts on his ring that you gave him.
I put on mine, and I make it a permanent part of that finger right now.
Excellent. Well, shall we head back to my homeland?
She goes, first, I have to go and pull a spear out of the dragon that's up on the top of the eyrie. Do you want to come with?
Yes.
All right. Hey,
You put it that way.
should we get a babysitter for the Gorgon egg, or should we take it with us?
I was told not to let it out of my sight.
Okay, let's take it with us then. All right.
And yeah, he puts it in. He's clearly actually paid some money for like a special satchel for this thing.
Really?
You see it's kind of reinforced and things, and he put the Gorgon egg in there and kind of gets it all set.
Awesome. This is good. We spend my last silvers on getting a nice lunch and then something to pack to go with us.
Oh no, he'll pay for lunch.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
you actually see he's got some coin on him.
Really? Well, this guy was a catch. Right.
Yeah, and he is excited. Like you say dragon, and he is there. Like, oh yeah. Down. You see him gird his loincloth. Says you gotta do that before you go into fights. And yeah, he gets ready to go. What about you, Garzula? Anything else you want to do before you head out to storm the castle?
I want to find some dragon anesthetic. And I want to find some janitorial staff uniforms for the tower.
Wow. So you're asking for some pretty hefty, unusual things here, right?
Yep. And I've got 3 gold to spend. Maybe that'll be enough. Maybe not.
Okay. Which is more important to you?
The dragon anesthetic.
Okay.
I can figure out other ways to sneak into the tower, but I can't figure out another way to yank that spear out without getting us all killed.
So for the kind of thing that we're talking about here, it doesn't have to go at like a level down in terms of places that you go. So we're in back alley ateliers and apothecaries, the mean street alchemists there. And eventually you arrive at a place. So let's have you roll with a state with an additional +1.
Okay. I'm going to steal Mean Street Alchemists as my new band name. Just
Fair
FYI. Let's see. I'm thinking since he's been taking advantage of this sort of peaceful time to in between episodes here to meditate with noodles and stuff. I think he's going to roll with peace. I think he appreciates the time to think and plan. So my base piece is +1. You said I'd roll it with an additional +1?
Yeah, you're rolling with a +2.
Okay, let's see how this works out. That is a 14. Boxcars.
So you will head into this atelier. It's a big cauldron in there. You will see there is an alchemist who looks a lot like Zelda, like little girl kind of style alchemist. There, got some kind of fancy clothing and things like that. But she doesn't have a cat. She has this like dark black, blood red eyed hound that kind of sits and watches you the whole time. Like it's the size of a mastiff. And so it's probably as big as she is. And she's like, yeah, so you need some dragon anesthetic. That's pretty high master stuff, man.
Indeed.
Yeah. You taking out a dragon, gonna go knock it out, man?
Oh, hopefully the plan is to minimize the taking on of the dragon and maximize the knocking out of the dragon.
All right, but I can do it, but you're only gonna have one shot at it.
No, I would figure I'd only get one shot at it. Because if I miss the first shot, it would be the dragon's going to be aroused against us, and I don't want that.
2 gold.
Sold.
And she says, now, the one drawback this has is that you don't want to get it on you. And she doesn't say any more. She hands you this jar.
And he says, how should this be applied to the dragon? Is it something it has
Liberally.
to ingest? Is it something that has to be ingested? Is it a contact?
No, you want anesthetic. So wherever you need to work, like if you're wherever you're going to stab it, you're going to want to apply it there.
Very well.
Again, I need to stress to you, you don't want to get it on you.
What would be the best way to apply it?
At a distance?
At a distance.
Yeah. If I would get a big pole, maybe with a cloth at the end, and use that.
Ah, the 10-foot pole. Yes, many stores sell those. Excellent.
Yes, absolutely. And she gives it to you. Again, she says, before you leave, I just want to say this one last time. You don't want to get that on you.
Just so I'm clear, what effect would this have if I got it on me, or some other person I had working for me got it on them?
It's dragon anesthetic. What do you think the effect is going to be?
Dope you into oblivion? Very good.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. He heads out.
Clever?
I think I would stop by Thaddeus's grotto before heading out.
Well, it's good to see you back again. How are things going with your newfound friends? Good.
Oh, yes, going very well.
So, Cat didn't talk to you?
No.
Oh, good. And then everything's fine. No worries. Nothing is going to happen that's bad.
I don't think I've seen the cat talk to anyone. Is that
sure
something cats do?
That's not... Mum's the word. You see him reach over to where he's got his alcohol stash.
My friends and I we're going to do a job.
What kind of job?
It's business.
Fair enough. Say no more.
I'm not sure when I'll be back, Thaddeus.
You'll be back and it'll be fine. We'll sit down and you can tell me all about it when you return, and we can go through what it meant to you.
I brought you something, so that while you're alone, you won't be sad. And I hand him one of these bottles.
And you see him kind of take it, and there's that second where he's like, and then he kind of parses and realizes, why you've brought that, and he's like, well, I will drink this when you come back. If I know you're coming back, I won't be sad.
Fascinating.
Excellent. And what about you, Zelda?
Damn it. I think I'm probably, just to give kind of an overview, things I would like to do. I wouldn't mind learning a bit more about what this area is, but we could do that maybe when we come together or whenever. But I really would like to give this jaunty hat to Clever.
Okay. Then let's say whatever meetup you guys are doing, that you two are the first to arrive.
Okay.
Where would you meet? Where would you arrange for your secret like meetup to do the planning and stuff?
I think maybe in the back of Mr. Peterson's house, he's got his garden.
Oh yes, well, yeah, with that with his gardens and then just with a crystal lantern. Yeah,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
and that's how you make an omelet.
Yes, cracking eggs. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, at least you it then. There we go. Up this way, I'm walking. Mind your shoelaces.
And I will definitely give all of the fond, love of a niece to a doddering great uncle that, and yeah, I imagine it's a little overgrown, and there's probably a back gate so people can come in without tromping through the house. That would just make it muddy.
He has this would be an herb garden, but it's all kind of gone to seed, and some of it has gone wild, but it still has a decent smell to it.
I bet you there's mint everywhere. You leave that stuff alone, and it just goes everywhere.
Yeah. And we'll say that Clever is the first to arrive.
Hi, Clever.
I think I've just been standing behind this gate stock still waiting for you.
And so I think I'll notice, you maybe the top of your head. Are you enormously tall? I mean, how big are you?
I feel like I'm probably pretty tall. Probably my crystal peaks at 6'5", I'm thinking.
Okay. So I think you're big enough and maybe flashy enough that in the sun I can. And I'll open up. Clever, you could have just come in.
I was told to wait to be invited before coming into places.
Oh, well, that's very polite of you, but since we're friends, then you could, come into the garden without having to wait, but it was very nice that you did.
And I kind of follow you in, and I kind of get down on one knee so that we're at the same eye level, except my eye is this magical rune, I guess. It's lit up like neon. I wanted to thank you.
For what?
I think that you saved me from those Tengu.
They're not trustworthy, but you're welcome.
I got you this alcohol. I hand to the little girl.
She'll sort of eye it and she'll smile. Thank you.
Thaddeus tells me that he drinks this when he's lonely, and he's not sad.
Well, sometimes you could still be sad even when you drink this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But thank you. I will make sure to drink it when I'm happy.
Oh, this is a very versatile beverage.
Very versatile beverage. I actually have something for you too.
Oh.
I'll move back over to where I have my bag. And I imagine it can be like a backpack slab throw over, but it has a little bit of that like large purse feel to it too. And as I get into it, you see like there's a big butcher knife or a big cleaver in it that I push to the side. And I bring out the hat. And I thought you might like this. A hat makes a gentleman always look distinguished. And it has a feather.
It does indeed. What does the feather do?
Well, it makes it look jaunty. It sort of bobs when you walk.
Oh, I quite like that.
Here, let me put it on you. And I'll kind of climb up on your knee and put it up on your head. And it looks good. It suits you.
Thank you, Zelda.
You're welcome.
Only the second gift I've ever received.
What was the first?
Oh, Thaddeus got me this hammer. It's like this big stone great hammer with this big stick. He said that if anyone wished me harm, I should use this.
Thaddeus is a smart guy, and I think he's very nice. It's a shame he doesn't like Rasp. And I think you'll see Rasp over there giving me the evil eye at the moment.
He looks up from rolling around in the catnip, yes.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to talk to him. But I was going to ask you, Zelda. That man in the sewer, did he mean you harm?
Well, yeah, I was supposed to do a job for him, and I failed.
Why didn't you hit him?
Well, honestly, because I was afraid that the rest of my friends would get killed. I mean, he probably would have done me a good bit of harm too, but, well, I was really worried that something would happen to the rest of you. I usually get out of scrapes like that.
So, if someone wishes me harm, I should offer to help them?
No, not immediately. But you should remember, sometimes there are ways to avoid harm besides hitting people with a big stone hammer.
This sounds like a very complicated calculation.
It is. It's sort of a bet, because sometimes you'll try and help them and they'll still, want to hit you with a hammer.
Do you have any further advice for hedging my bets?
Well, the thing is that you want to find trustworthy people. People that when they make a deal, they mean it. And, stick with me, kid. You'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll keep that in mind.
And I'll kind of tiptoe up and kiss you on the cheek there.
Oh.
Nice. Michael, you're going to come back next week regardless of what's going on, right? Okay. So even if we have 5, we'll bring you back because I really want to see Clever come back for that.
Okay, cool.
Let's do XP. We've got 2 questions that I think we've got definite yeses to. One is, did you face danger because of a PC's trouble? Yes. So everybody gets a point for that. And did you learn something significant new about the city? What did you learn, Sherry?
I learned that someone stabbed a dragon, and they used treasure to do it.
Okay. Garzula, what did you learn?
I learned that you probably shouldn't layer magics quite that thickly in your sewer.
Okay. And Clever, what did you learn?
Oh boy, I learned a lot. I wrote many of these down. But the most recent prescient thing I learned is that you should find trustworthy people.
Nice. And Zelda?
I think I learned that there is a Clever. I believe that I am utterly fascinated by him.
You know what? Next time, let's resolve your intimacy move.
Cool. That would be neat and sad and bad.
Yeah. Because that is a thing for you. Which makes your familiar jealous.
Yes, it does.
So then the questions that are, so that's 2 points for everybody. And then here are I'm going to go around with the questions that might be a yes or no. Sherry, did you encounter a situation which forced you to challenge or question your belief?
My belief is still that it's reputation and not skill. Not really.
Okay. Oh, I should have stopped off and checked in with you to see if you wanted to change that at all.
Yeah, and that was the thing is we kind of flew past that. So that's cool. Sometimes you just don't get on the bus.
Okay. And did you create a new debt, call in a debt on someone else, or pay off a debt you owed?
I don't know. That whole thing seems like if Zelda doesn't owe me already, and she does, but I owe her. So we didn't do anything exchange, but I certainly backed her up.
Okay, so I think that's worthy of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
Yeah. What about you, Garzula? Did you encounter a situation which forced you to challenge or question your belief?
I think he has. His belief is that simple knowledge is not enough, even though he was taught that was the greatest good. But this time he's made several revelations about ways that can, through his previous experiences and learning, that he believes may be very, very helpful.
Yeah.
So he's feeling good about he's feeling a lot better about knowledge being a good in and of itself.
So let's give you a point. Did you create a new debt, call in a debt on someone else, or pay off a debt you owed?
No, I think the only debt I have right now is to Feistus, and Feistus wasn't here, so I did not
fair
do
enough.
anything with that.
What do you think your belief is that Clever might have?
I had skipped that step originally, but
yeah. Well, and we can kind of let's play with it for a second here and see what we can kind of come to.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing has to do with like friendship. I think the thing that kind of stuck with me was like, so is this like my perception of the world?
Yeah, a belief that you want your character to kind of, come up against and maybe realize isn't right in play.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, like something like people are generally helpful and trustworthy.
And certainly the Tengu, now that you found out, and that you right. I mean, at the end, you certainly questioned that and actuated that. So yeah, let's give you a point for that.
Okay.
And I think we established that a debt was made because when the people rescued you. So that's another point.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Zelda, did you question or challenge a belief?
I still think I'm solid with my belief, and between Sadlin and I, we're setting up for the moment that's all going to fall apart on us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still think it's better to be lucky than skilled.
We will see.
Mm-hmm.
And what about we debt? You get a point for the debt stuff.
We did pull the debt, yeah.
Okay. So that's where we're going to stop for tonight. And we will take up. We will roll right away into the caper. Next time we'll do a little bit of checking on people's beliefs. We'll roll that intimacy move. We'll do the passion in the garden, and then we'll roll on from there. So I am going to stop the broadcast.